Hey everyone, it's Foucault here to look at some of the biggest pots that I lost over the months of April and May. And I say some of, I did actually choose at not to look strictly at the biggest ones, but what I did do was I sorted my Hold'em database by the size of the pot lost in big blinds, and then I looked through the hands and I kind of picked out the ones that I thought would be most interesting for discussion. So there were a few that I left out for a variety of reasons, either because I didn't have a lot to say about the hand, or it was maybe similar to another hand we had that had been in a previous video. Just not a lot interesting happened in it. So yeah, I've selected some select big pots that I lost over the course of April and May, and we're going to look at these both in terms of whether there were things that I could have done to avoid losing the pot or losing as much of the pot as I lost, whether there were things that my opponents did that were particularly good to help them win maybe a larger pot than they would have under different circumstances, and also whether I did in fact play it well and just happened to get unlucky. So we'll be considering some of those factors and also just looking at some interesting hands. Let's go ahead and get started. Always a good hand to lose a big pot with. I've got my pocket aces, raise it up. Interesting dynamic that you tend to see when you have a player playing 46-39. I can guarantee you this is quite rare at a 5-10 game these days to find a fish, especially one with bigger than a 100 big blind stack, to find a guy who's playing half of his hands. You don't see that all that much, and it's not surprising that these two players want to get into the pot, especially Hot Mama having the button being quite deep. I mean, basically 300 big blinds deep with me, and also about 130 big blinds deep with Ecstasy Man. It makes sense that Hot Mom is going to be in here a lot. To be honest, if I were, I don't necessarily do this all the time when I'm multi-tabling because it is kind of demanding, but if I were going to design a pre-flop strategy specifically for playing at this table, with having this very loose and aggressive player on my left, you see, now granted it's only over 28 hands, but I can also tell you that you'd be hard pressed to find a 28 hand sample at a 6-handed table where I'm playing 46-39. Even if his true stats are a little bit less loose and aggressive than this, he's clearly a player who's on the loose and aggressive side. And so what I wanted to say is that you'd much rather be on the left of a player like this, simply because he's going to be entering a lot of pots, and you want the opportunity to play those pots in position against him. Most of your money, most of my money at this table, is going to come from playing pots in position against Ecstasy Man. The rest of these players, none of them are great rigs, but they're all regulars, and they're not people who are making big mistakes or losing a lot of money. So the money at this table is mostly going to come from Ecstasy Man, and it's really to my advantage to be sitting on his left. Unfortunately, that was a very coveted seat, and I was not able to get the seat on his left, so I ended up with the seat on his right.